Well, hello everyone. I wanted to say a few concluding things about the course and sort of where we've been and where we've ended. You've seen now the evolution of the human species as one of many members of the primate order, about 200 species in the primate order. You've seen 65 million years of evolution, followed by about 5 million years of hominid evolution, and then the movement of Homo, essentially, the movement of our genus out of Africa, and the regional diversification or regional adaptations of Homo across the globe. Only Antarctica really was not colonized by any native people that we know of yet. People, of course, between 50 and 5,000 years ago inhabited or moved into and adapted to just about everywhere you can imagine. And this is from the Arctic to the Pacific Islands, the highlands of Peru, the lowlands of the Mojave Desert. I mean, humanity is extremely adaptable, and you know that that adaptation, although there are a few regional varieties in the human phenotype, in the human body, skin coloration, hair texture, size and shape sometimes of the body. Those are pretty minor, and certainly they are not major in terms of genetic variation within the species. That is, all humanity is within the biological species Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens and then the subspecies sapiens. Homo sapiens is one group, and as it turns out, all humans can mate with and produce viable offspring with other human populations. Or humans. So basically we have a species that is widely distributed worldwide, and of course this adaptation wasn't done by physical means primarily, although as I just mentioned there are some regional variations. What the most important means of adaptation in humanity, of course, has been culture and behavior, and the decoupling of behavior from anatomy going all the way back to the earliest stone tools. That really sets all of this in motion, this adaptation of humanity to all these different varieties. And these regional variations, these regional adaptations, account for, to a degree, the diversity of human cultures worldwide. Why are there people who speak Mandarin, and why are there people who speak the Australian Aboriginal languages? Well, in part, at least, it has to do with adaptations to different ecological context or biomes, and the linguistic adaptation to those regions that's required, right? You have a different vocabulary if you live in the polar regions than if you live, for example, in a warm desert. So, although we don't want to be deterministic and say that the ecological system or the ecosystem completely shapes each human society, no, human culture is much too variable for that, but it does have a structuring role in sort of the origins of cultural diversity. Now, one of the final concepts we came to here was race, and this really has to do with our conflation, or the false conceptions of race have to do with our conflation of culture and biology. Conflation meaning mixing these in a way that is not productive. What do I mean? I mean that when we think of racial stereotypes, essentially what humanity is doing at that time, or doing with these racial stereotypes, is saying that people can't help to behave in such a way because they have such a race, right? They come from a particular race. Well, this just doesn't pan out. As it turns out, as I've mentioned several times now, humans, most of our behavior largely comes from what we learn. And so you can take an infant in Japan and raise them in Germany, an example I used before, and they're not going to act German or Japanese or whatever. They are going to act as essentially as their culture enculturates them. Ethnic groups or ethnicity are real. People do have strong identities, and they go to war and they fight and they kill one another over them. And those do typically have a shared history, or they're based on a shared history and a shared connection, oftentimes to a very specific landscape, a place. That's our homeland. That's where we come from. This is what ethnic groups are sort of based on. But again, that is propagated through remaining or marrying within that group, right, and maintaining it, culturally maintaining that sort of distinctiveness, not through that behavior riding, for example, on genes. So we see skin color and hair color and so on. These minor human variations, as I just said, these are minor things compared to the overall pattern, which is humanity is one biological species, Homo sapiens sapiens. I still have 20 seconds, so I just wanted to say thanks for taking the course. I wish I could have done more of these videos. I'm working my way towards that. It's still a little bit technically laborious to do it. Anyway, I've enjoyed the course very much. I always do. I learn a great deal from doing it, and I learn a great deal from reading your papers.